You can follow your interests, and the thing that you do reflects you as a person and your personality, then that's success to me.
Before you were an artist, what were you doing? Were you studying or working?
I kind of see myself as always an artist, but I hadn't figured out that I was. So I was working I went to art college quite a long time ago, about 20 years ago, and then when I left, I thought, I just didn't know how I would make it as what to do next. So I went into graphic design, website design, all that kind of working on a computer, and I did that for about 15 years, which was, it helped me out a lot, as in it got me on my feet and gave me a bit of a start, but it also made me realise that I didn't want to continue doing that for my whole life. I wanted to go back to being an artist, and I just had to find the time in between that job to figure out how I was going to do that.
Tell us a bit more about your style or your voice as an artist.
I make these handmade collages, so the whole point of me leaving my work as a graphic designer was I was frustrated with being online and being on screen all the time, so I wanted to start making handmade stuff. I wanted to, just have that sort of limit down the options I had down to just cutting stuff out and putting them together so it has to work. I didn't see many people in art talking about things that are happening today in the world. I didn't want to just make sort of eye candy. So it was all of that. I just wanted a reflection of who I was as a person to come out in the art. So I just made these artworks as collages by hand because I didn't have a lot of time. I was just cutting things out and then putting them away. And it just became a thing. I just kept making them, and they built up and up and up, and they got more and more sort of developed and interesting as I made them, as I went along.
It's very interesting. How do you define success, Joe?
I don't think it's about making lots of money. I don't think it's about the sort of the rules of success are perceived as to be, car, big house, all that kind of thing. Because I think you can never make enough money. You're never satisfied. So for me, success is to follow your heart, follow your dreams, and follow the thing that you actually want or feel like you should be doing. If you can follow your interests and the thing that you do reflects you as a person and your personality, then that's success to me.
For any sort of aspiring artists or individuals who are just trying to do their own thing and express themselves creatively, what should they do? You're quite business savvy, you've been successful relatively financially that way. You've had a few good exhibitions. I think Saatchi Gallery, you do quite regular there. But any tips for those sort of young hustlers out there?
Again, if you just follow what you feel you should be doing, then the financial rewards should come, because if it's your interest, then it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like a job, but it feels it's more of a calling. And if you're following your calling, your thing that you should be doing in life, then I think opportunities come through from that. People reach out to you and say, do you want to do an album cover? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do, or they buy the work.
How about you sort of putting yourself in terms of social media out there? Do you do all sorts of social? Are you very regular with it? Do you have a website at the moment?
Yeah.
And Insta and things like that?
I've started to do all that. I found, Facebook and Instagram quite useful to share the work. So when I left art college all those years ago, social media didn't exist, and that was like, well, how do people? What do I do?
Yeah.
It's almost like I needed those platforms to be invented to share my ideas.
Time.
It took a while. It could have been a bit earlier. That would have helped. But at the same time, I kind of resist it a bit because it's supposed to be off the computer, away from technology. So in a perfect world, I wouldn't even touch it. I would quite like to get rid of my phone, get rid of all of that. But I just, to, like you say, go back to making a living from it. You get emails, you get people messaging you through different platforms, and you kind of, I need to respond to those. So it's a double-edged thing. I like it because it gives accessibility to the work, to anyone, but at the same time, I wish we could all just put our phones down a little bit more often.
How do you define the element of luck, chance, serendipity, in your process, and how does it affect you?
Well, the whole thing is about serendipity. It's all, that's what I like about it. It's am I going to be lucky enough today to stumble across something that's going to make my next best-selling print, or a really good artwork, really strong artwork, and you just don't know. And I think it's tuning in to my senses to find those things. It can happen. Some days you have an off day and it just nothing happens, and the whole process is down to luck and that sort of sense of fate that I've married these two pictures together and it's become this new thing, and it's the chances of that happening, all of the chances of those things falling into place for that to happen, it's it's a bit spooky in a way sometimes.
It's interesting. Do you think there's an artistic DNA for somebody to take those kind of risks and be comfortable with it, or it's something you can learn and be comfortable as you go along?
Yeah, it's something I'm comfortable with. I've always sort of lived my life a little bit like it'll be okay, things will work out. That sort of approach to let's take this risk, let's go to this place, let's do this thing, and then hopefully things will work out. And often they do, because you've put yourself in a position out there for things to unfold. If you're at home worrying like that's not going to work, this one's going to work, you're defeating yourself before you've even had a chance to explore the options that might have happened.
Besides the element of being comfortable with luck, how comfortable an artist or a budding artistic entrepreneur or anyone who's trying to do something new and creative has to be with the element of failure?
Yeah.
And do you fail?
Yeah, all the time, yeah. I mean, failure is just, it's a learning curve. The way I see it is you have to fail to learn. You have to find out what doesn't work. I make 10 pieces to every one that works. 10 pieces don't work, and you have to tear them up. You might think, oh, that works, and the next day you look at it and go, no, it didn't, and now I've ruined it because I've stuck it all down, So, yeah, it's all part of it, it's how you perceive failure. Do you sort of get all beat up about it, or do you go, right, well, I won't do that again, I know where to go next time. It's all part of it.
Do you think in your journey, do you think very far, your form of art, the way it's your core voice and your messaging, do you think it's or see it changing over the next 3, 5, 10 years, or you just find it as you go along?
A lot of it is responses to current events or the world around us. So I guess it will keep evolving, but you can sort of see the trajectory of the world at the moment and the challenges we face. And so I feel like I'm just going to keep talking about that and stick to the route that I'm going, but develop different ways of saying it. And I guess I never really know, because it's about finding the images that are going to express things that are happening now. And until I find those images, I don't really know.
How do you manage now that you're your own boss, you sort of manage your own little business, how do you do your work-life balance? Is it difficult, or you have to remind yourself on a regular basis?
I don't really find it difficult, but I guess it's just the admin side of things starts to take over, and I don't really want to treat it like a business. I don't really see it as a business. I see it as a thing I want to do a lot. And we all sort of taught to treat everything as a business, and it's like, well, it's not a career for me. It's more than that. It's actually just a thing I do, and so it's just reminding myself of that and reasons why I started doing it. Which was, when I started doing it, I wasn't prepared to. I wasn't thinking it was going to be a job. I was just doing it for the pure interest of it.
How does your relationship with galleries work at the moment? So, are you a big believer in doing these big or small exhibitions?
Yeah, I mean, I like going into a gallery setting because, again, it's in the real world, it's offline, you know, they obviously have an online presence, but people can, often I've done shows and people haven't known about my work and they've wandered into the gallery and found out about it. So you've got kind of like an audience who are always online, and you've got another audience that might not be, they might not have a Facebook page, and you might not go on the internet, or they might not stumbled across it. You know, there's a lot of stuff to find out there, and so to be in a gallery setting I really like it because, you know, there's nothing else there. It's white walls and you just walk in and look at the artwork, and that's all there is to do there, you know, and there's no other distractions. And in life today, there's so many distractions. It's quite a nice environment to go somewhere and sort of be meditative about, you know, an artwork, a visual language that's being expressed, you know, on a wall, and come away with something. You know, so yeah, I really like it.
How do you define, you know, an H&O bar? And I have a particular problem that, you know, people just think that only young people who are hustling. People, I think, are hustling every time, you know. You know, if you finish your job at 50 or 60, you need to hustle again to find your new meaning and purpose in life. So I think, how do you define a brave hustler irrespective of age or what they're trying to do?
I just think it's having the courage to follow the thing that you're interested in, and really find your true self and your true voice, and then to start putting it out there and to start expressing it. Because I think if you have a platform, then you can sort of educate or bring consciousness to people that may not have thought about those things before, and it's almost giving validity to a subject to say we can look at art. Art can be in this form, or we can do it this way. We can see things differently. We don't have to follow what somebody else is doing at all and do it that way. We can, you know, so it's you're creating your own platform, a new way of looking at things through hustling your ideas and putting them out there.